Today, we're talking about a company that's so deeply woven into the fabric of India that if it disappeared, millions would feel it instantly. We're talking about Bharti Airtel, and trust me, its scale is absolutely mind-boggling. So let's get into it.
To really wrap our heads around how big Airtel is, we're going to start with a little thought experiment. It's a bit dramatic, I'll admit, but it perfectly shows you just how massive their reach is.
So just imagine this for a second. You wake up tomorrow and poof, the entire Airtel network is gone. No signal, no data, nothing. What would that actually mean for you? What's the first thing you'd notice?
Well, for starters, think about your phone's contact list. Now imagine trying to call someone. For 3 out of every 10 people in your phone, you just get that dead tone. The number wouldn't exist anymore. That's just how deep Airtel runs in our everyday lives.
Okay, so that little thought experiment gives you a feel for it, right? But now let's dive into the actual numbers, because this is where you really see the true scale of this giant.
First thing you need to know, when we talk about value, Airtel isn't just a big fish in the telecom pond. Nope. It's one of the top 3 most valuable corporations in all of India. We're talking about the absolute top tier of the Indian economy here. And this is where it gets really wild. Take a look at this comparison with its competition. Airtel's market cap, its total value, is a staggering 10 times bigger than Vodafone Idea's. It's not just leading the pack, it's practically in a different league altogether.
So where does all that value come from? Well, it's fueled by some absolutely massive revenues. For the 2025 fiscal year, Airtel raked in over 1.7 lakh crore rupees. I mean, that's a number that's kind of hard to even imagine, but it shows you the kind of financial powerhouse we're dealing with.
So how in the world do they make that much money? Well, as you can see, it's not just from your monthly phone bill. Sure, mobile services are a huge chunk of it, but Airtel has played it smart. They've diversified. They're making serious money from broadband, their corporate Airtel Business Solutions, and even their payment banks. This strategy is key. It makes their income super resilient.
So we've seen the massive scale, right? But how does that turn into actual profit? Because, being big is one thing, but being efficiently profitable, that's the real name of the game.
To really get Airtel's profitability, there's one little acronym you gotta know, ARPU. It stands for Average Revenue Per User. Basically, it's how much money the company makes from a single customer every single month. It's a super important number.
And when it comes to ARPU, Airtel is crushing it. Theirs is around 245 rupees. They've done this by really focusing on premium customers and getting them onto higher value plans. That number is way higher than Vodafone Idea's, and on the higher end even when you compare it to a behemoth like Jio.
So what does a higher ARPU really mean? It's simple. It means Airtel is just better at making money from the customers it already has. They're squeezing more value out of each user, and that gives them a massive edge.
And here's another secret weapon in their profitability playbook, their Africa business. The Indian market is, let's face it, a battlefield. But their operations in Africa are a strategic advantage, generating a really strong, steady stream of cash that helps keep the whole company stable.
So when you put all these pieces together, the huge scale, the diverse sources of income, and that super high profitability, a whole new picture starts to form. It becomes pretty clear that we have to think of Airtel as way more than just a phone company.
Yeah, this quote really just nails it. With its hands in business, payments, and connecting our homes, Airtel isn't just a service provider anymore. It really has become the digital backbone of the entire country.
So, if we boil it all down, Airtel's core strengths are pretty clear. First, its incredible scale and reach. Second, that super strong ARPU that drives profits. And third, you put those two together and you get some very, very healthy financial margins.
But of course, no giant is invincible. To really get the full picture, we have to look at the other side of the coin. We need to talk about the huge challenges that a company this big is always facing.
And let's be crystal clear about something. The telecom business is brutally tough. It requires insane amounts of money, constant investment, and you're doing it all in one of the most competitive markets on the planet. And the challenges just keep coming, year after year. There's the massive cost of rolling out 5G and expanding fiber networks. There's the constantly changing government regulations you have to navigate. And of course, the elephant in the room, the relentless competition from players like Jio. In this industry, you can never rest.
So what's the big takeaway here? Airtel is a beast. It's a powerful, almost utility-like business that's absolutely essential to modern India. Its strengths are obvious. but its future all comes down to how well it can manage its money and navigate whatever comes next. And that kind of leaves us with one big final question. In a world that changes this fast, can any utility, no matter how big or important, ever be truly risk-free?